January 20, 2025, News Report 1. On January 20, 2025, the inauguration ceremony of the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, took place at noon in the rotunda of the Capitol. Invited guests gradually entered, and due to cold weather, the ceremony was held indoors, making it the first indoor inauguration since President Reagan's second term in 1985. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump, in his inaugural speech, called for revolutionary changes and announced a series of policies, including large-scale deportation of immigrants, high tariffs, and downsizing the federal government. He stated that this inauguration marked a historic return. The day's events began early in the morning. Trump and his wife Melania attended a prayer ceremony at St. John's Church in Washington, followed by a meeting with the Bidens at the White House to complete the transfer of power. Trump and Biden then went to the Capitol to attend the inauguration. The ceremony included Vice President Pence taking the oath, followed by Trump swearing in an inaugural speech. After the ceremony, Trump went to the Capitol to sign a series of appointments, memoranda, and executive orders. According to Trump's statements at his victory rally on January 19, he plans to revoke all executive orders of the Biden administration on his first day in office and sign about 200 new executive orders, including measures related to border security, energy policy, federal spending, and TikTok legislation. Additionally, Trump promised to release files related to the assassinations of former President Kennedy and civil rights leader Martin Luther King. The Taiwanese delegation was invited to attend related events at the First Capitol Sports Arena in Washington. After taking the oath, Trump went to the arena to meet with the guests. Despite the temperature being as low as -6 degrees Celsius in Washington, many Trump supporters gathered on the streets, hoping to witness the inauguration in person. News Report 2. According to AFP, on January 18, tens of thousands of Americans held a People's March in Washington to protest the incoming President Trump's positions on issues such as abortion rights, climate change, gun violence prevention, and immigrant rights. Organizers claimed that about 50,000 people participated, but the police estimated the actual number at around 25,000. The protest was organized by several civil rights groups and NGOs, and the marchers walked from downtown to the Lincoln Memorial, where a rally was held. Participants carried colorful signs and wore pink, cat ear hats, a symbol of the first People's March in 2017, to express dissatisfaction with Trump's policies. At the same time, a poll conducted by CBS and YouGov revealed that 60% of respondents were optimistic about Trump's presidency. This was higher than the support rate at the beginning of Trump's first term, but lower than the approval ratings of previous presidents from Carter to Obama. The poll also showed that 56% of respondents believed the U.S. economy was performing poorly, which was one of the main reasons for the Democratic Party's loss in the election. However, 52% of respondents believed that the U.S. economy would improve after Trump took office, which was considered a key factor in his victory. Regarding specific issues, 39% of respondents predicted that the prices of essentials would rise after Trump took office, while another 39% believed prices would fall, with both views almost evenly split. This poll was conducted from January 15 to 17, surveying more than 2,100 American adults. News Report 3. According to Reuters, before the inauguration, President-elect Donald Trump and his wife Melania launched their respective cryptocurrencies, Trump Coin and Melania Coin. Trump released Trump Coin on January 17, with a total supply of 200 million coins and an initial price of $10 per coin. As of 11 a.m. Eastern Time on January 20, Trump Coin's price had surged to $58.56, an increase of approximately 4.8 times. Based on this price, the 80% of Trump coins held by Trump would be worth $9.36 billion. Melania launched Melania Coin on January 19, with an initial price of $12.03 per coin. By 11 a.m. on January 20, Melania Coin's price had risen to $43.64, marking a 13.4% increase. Trump heavily promoted Trump Coin on social media and encouraged his supporters to purchase it. Analysts noted that the Trump's decision to launch cryptocurrencies before the inauguration might be an attempt to circumvent the U.S. Constitution's emoluments clause, which prohibits the president from using office for personal gain. Skybridge Capital founder Anthony Scaramucci stated that the Trump's actions negatively impacted the cryptocurrency industry, criticizing it as self-deceptive and potentially signaling deeper corruption issues. Another cryptocurrency venture capital founder, Tom Aino, called it predatory and suggested that many people might be harmed by it. He recommended that Trump should airdrop the coins to the American public rather than profit from issuing them. The Trump's cryptocurrency initiative sparked widespread controversy in both social and financial circles. News Report 4. According to the Wall Street Journal on January 20, the Chinese government is mobilizing its diplomatic system to promote a visit to China by U.S. President Trump in the early days of his presidency. The report states that Trump intends to visit China within 100 days of taking office, though sources suggest this may be more of a Chinese initiative than one from Trump's team. The report also noted that representatives of Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are discussing the possibility of a face-to-face meeting, and are considering an alternative option where Trump invites Xi to visit the U.S. Trump made his first visit to China in 2017, when Xi accompanied him to the Forbidden City and invited him to visit other sites. However, starting in 2018, Trump initiated a trade war with China, which strained bilateral relations. Now, China is eager to alleviate diplomatic tensions by inviting Trump to visit, in order to further solidify Xi's diplomatic achievements and address challenges he faces within the party. Additionally, Reuters reported that on January 19, Chinese Vice President Han Zheng, acting as Xi's special representative, met with U.S. Vice President-elect Mike Pence. Han's visit was to attend Trump's inauguration. It had been previously suggested that a member of the Chinese Politburo, Kai Chi, might attend, but Han represented China instead. The rapid high-level interactions between China and the U.S. after the new government's inauguration have drawn widespread attention to the future direction of their relations. News Report 5. On January 20, 2025, 2 criminals from the Zhuhai car attack case and the Wuxi knife attack case were executed. Public opinion has focused on the societal issues behind these cases, as well as China's swift legal handling process. The Zhuhai car attack case is considered one of the most severe random attacks in China in the past decade. On November 11, 2023, the attacker, Fan Weiqiu, drove an SUV into the Zhuhai Sports Center, attacking citizens who were exercising, resulting in 35 deaths and 43 injuries. On December 27, 2023, the Zhuhai Intermediate Court sentenced Fan to death for endangering public safety with dangerous methods. Just a week later, on November 16, 2023, a knife attack occurred at the Wuxi Craft Vocational and Technical College in Yixing, Jiangsu Province. The attacker, Su Jiajin, carried out the attack due to dissatisfaction with his internship pay and failure to graduate, resulting in 8 deaths and 17 injuries. In December 2023, the Wuxi Intermediate Court sentenced Su to death for intentional homicide. Analysts have pointed out that these random killings reflect internal social tensions and pressures in China. President Xi Jinping had instructed the swift and severe handling of such cases, leading to the quick sentencing and execution of the perpetrators. News Report 6. According to Hong Kong 01, over 30 employees from a fitness center on Panyu Road in Shanghai were tricked into going to a scam zone in Myawaddy, Myanmar. This incident dates back to August 2023 when the gym was closed and these employees were transferred to a store in Shenzhen. By the end of the year, a regional manager took them to Thailand under the pretext of a team-building event, only to later smuggle them into the Apollo scam zone in Myawaddy. On January 8, 2024, these trapped employees sought help online, drawing public attention. The Chinese government has not yet issued a clear response to this incident. NGOs estimate that at least 6,000 Chinese citizens are trapped in the Myawaddy scam zone, but there is widespread doubt about the accuracy of this number. Thai police revealed that between 60,000 and 70,000 Chinese nationals are kidnapped or deceived into these scam zones every year, suggesting the actual number may be much higher than the NGO estimate. In response to the issue of online fraud, Hong Kong universities have taken action to strengthen the anti-fraud awareness among Chinese students. The University of Hong Kong requires Chinese students to fill out an anti-fraud questionnaire provided by the police and participate in relevant courses. Last year, 60 Chinese students were defrauded of about 60 million Hong Kong dollars in online fraud cases. The Bangkok Post reported that on January 20, Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, Prawit Wongsuwan, announced a 6-month nationwide anti-crime operation, focusing on drug trafficking, online fraud, and human trafficking. This operation will cover 14 provinces, 51 counties, and 76 police stations, with a dual border security system established along the eastern and western borders. If there is no significant improvement within 6 months, the government will take more stringent measures. With the exposure of the Mayawati scam issue, Thailand's tourism industry has also been impacted. This crackdown is seen not only as a response to crime but also as an attempt to restore confidence in the tourism sector. The success of this operation will directly affect Thailand's future international image regarding online fraud and its economic development. News Report 7. According to the Gansu Daily, on January 14, several migrant workers gathered at the gates of Xiangyu Group in Xiamen to protest unpaid wages but were dispersed with high-pressure water guns, with some workers being detained. These workers from Gansu province were employed by Xiangyu Group, which has provided laborers to Xiamen for many years. Over 400 workers from various regions began to gather at the protest site, demanding the payment of wages, claiming they were owed wages for as long as 5 months. The local government, which had promised to assist these workers in recovering their wages, was accused of neglecting their rights. The Xiangyu Group had fallen into financial difficulties due to local real estate market fluctuations. According to investigations by the Xiamen Development Bureau, the company owed 45 million yuan in unpaid wages to over 1,000 migrant workers in Xiamen. In response, Xiangyu Group denied the accusations, stating that they would clear the debts within the next 6 months and settle the workers' wages. However, the situation deteriorated on January 14 when Xiangyu dispatched its security personnel to deal with the protest. The workers reported being sprayed with high-pressure water, and some were detained by the police. The government has since stated that it would take legal action against Xiangyu Group, with a deadline set for wage settlement by January 31, 2025. News Report 8. According to data released by the National Bureau of Statistics on January 20, 2023, the unemployment rate for young people aged 16 to 24 in China was 15.7% in December, a decrease of 0.4 percentage points compared to the previous month. The unemployment rate for people aged 25 to 29 was 6.6%, a decrease of 0.1 percentage points, while the unemployment rate for those aged 35 to 59 was 3.9%, a rise of 0.1 percentage points. These statistics do not include students. Overall, the Urban Survey unemployment rate in December was 5.1%, up by 0.1 percentage points from the previous month. However, there have been doubts about whether these figures accurately reflect China's current employment situation. Many young people report facing difficulties in finding jobs, with some even experiencing layoffs or income reductions after being employed. Public opinion generally believes that the actual unemployment situation may be more severe than the official data suggests. Some analyses suggest that the official statistics may underestimate the real unemployment rate, especially in the context of a sluggish economic recovery and reduced recruitment by companies, which have made employment pressures particularly severe for young people. As a result, the gap between official data and public perception continues to be a subject of discussion. News Report 9. Recently, China's military-industrial system has entered a deep restructuring phase, with personnel changes reported in the senior management of several core companies. According to Ming Pao on January 18, the resumes of Hao Xiaoping, the general manager, and Yang Wei, the vice general manager of the China Aviation Industry Corporation, AVIC, have been removed from the company website, suggesting they may have been dismissed. Hao Xiaoping, 65 years old, joined AVIC in 1991 and held various important positions, ultimately becoming the group's general manager. His long career made him one of the key figures in China's defense industry. Yang Wei, 61 years old, was once China's youngest aircraft chief designer and is known as the father of the J-20. His J-20 fighter is considered a significant achievement of China's aviation industry. Rumors of an investigation into Yang Wei had been circulating, and the removal of his resume seems to confirm these rumors. Additionally, according to Xindao Daily, Yu Jianfeng, chairman of the China National Nuclear Corporation, recently missed an internal anti-corruption meeting held in Beijing, raising speculation about his involvement in the issue. Yu Jianfeng, 59 years old, has long served in the China National Nuclear Corporation and became chairman in 2018. His absence from the meeting may indicate that anti-corruption efforts in the defense sector are deepening. News Report 10. According to AFP, the Mexican military announced on January 18 that Mexican and U.S. security agencies had discovered a secret tunnel between the two countries' borders. The tunnel, located between Ciudad Juarez in Mexico and El Paso, Texas, is hidden within the drainage system connecting the two cities. The tunnel's entrance is 1.8 meters high and 1.2 meters wide, large enough for easy passage. Mexican officials revealed that the tunnel has been in use for about 1 to 2 years, and the Mexican government plans to seal it to prevent its continued use. News Report 11. The Philippine National Bureau of Investigation announced on January 20 that they arrested a Chinese man named Deng Yuanqing last week, accusing him of espionage activities in the Philippines. Deng Yuanqing, an engineering expert and graduate of the PLA Army Engineering University, has been residing in the Philippines for 5 years. He frequently visited key infrastructure sites in the Philippines, including U.S. military bases, military camps, local governments, police stations, power plants, ports, and airports. Spy equipment, including reconnaissance maps and real-time transmission devices, was found in his car, suggesting that he might have been transmitting collected intelligence back to China. Philippine Armed Forces Chief Bronner stated that Deng Yuanqing is suspected of collecting landmark and topographic information that could be used for military attacks. Last year, another Chinese national was also arrested by the Philippine military for carrying spy equipment showing Philippine military and police camps. News Report 12. According to Radio France, the Gaza ceasefire and hostage agreement took effect on January 19, with 3 female hostages successfully released and returned to Israel. They had been held by Hamas for 471 days. The images showed the 3 women walking out of a vehicle surrounded by Hamas gunmen and entering a Red Cross vehicle. One of the women was missing several fingers. Israel then released 69 women and 21 teenagers. Although the ceasefire agreement was reached, Hamas did not provide the list of hostages as required before their release, leading Israel to suspend the implementation of the agreement. After 3 hours, Israel launched an attack on Gaza. Hamas then provided the hostages list, and Israel resumed the ceasefire agreement. Currently, Hamas still holds approximately 100 hostages. According to the ceasefire agreement, 33 hostages are expected to be released within 6 weeks. While most Israelis support pausing the conflict for hostage release, right-wing allies of Israel oppose ending the war. As a result, Israeli Minister of National Security Ben-Gvir resigned and announced that his Jewish Power Party would withdraw from the coalition government. News Report 13. According to Korean television, the Seoul Western District Court officially approved the arrest of President Yoon Suk-yeol on January 19, citing concerns that he might destroy evidence. The court ruled that he could be detained for up to 20 days from his arrest on January 15. Yoon Suk-yeol became the first sitting president in South Korea's history to be formally arrested. Despite his formal arrest, Yoon Suk-yeol has refused to attend the Public Investigation Office for questioning. On the afternoon of January 20, prosecutors and investigators from the office went to the Seoul Detention Center to forcibly summon Yoon, but he and his lawyer refused to cooperate with the investigation. The standoff lasted more than 6 hours, and the forced summons ultimately failed. As the Public Investigation Office does not have prosecutorial authority, it has reached an agreement with the prosecution to transfer Yoon Suk-yeol to the prosecution after 10 days, where further investigations will take place over a 20-day period, and charges may be filed before the deadline. On January 20, South Korea's Deputy Minister of Justice Kim Suk-yu stated that if Yoon Suk-yeol exercises his right to remain silent, the investigation will be unable to continue. Meanwhile, on January 19, around 44,000 of Yoon Suk-yeol's supporters gathered outside the Seoul Western District Court in protest. Approximately 100 people broke into the court's rear door, throwing 10 stones and smashing windows, resulting in 40 arrests. News Report 14. On January 17, the Canadian government raised its travel risk warning for China to level 2, meaning travelers should exercise increased caution. The reasons for the higher risk level include risks of arbitrary law enforcement. There is a risk of arbitrary enforcement of laws in China, which could affect traveler safety. Detention issues in Xinjiang and Tibet. The Chinese government may detain individuals without proper procedures, especially in sensitive regions. Internet censorship. China has strict internet censorship, and online privacy may be violated. Communication monitoring. The Chinese government monitors communication, including information on electronic devices. Credit card fraud and counterfeit currency. Travelers may face risks related to credit card fraud and counterfeit currency in China. The Canadian government's travel warning system has 4 levels. Level 1. Take normal safety precautions. Level 2. Exercise increased caution. Level 3. Avoid non-essential travel. Level 4. Avoid all travel. At Level 2, although insurance companies will still provide coverage for travelers to China, premiums will increase, and insurance conditions will be stricter, raising travel costs. If the risk warning reaches Level 3 or 4, insurance companies may limit or cancel coverage. News Report 15. Recently, banks in Hong Kong have launched special high-interest short-term US dollar time deposits, indicating a tightening of the US dollar market in Hong Kong. The interest rates for short-term US dollar deposits at major banks are as follows. ZA Bank, 7 days 13%, 1 month 6.6%, 3 months 4.8%, annualized rate. Fubon Bank, 7 days 10.88%, 1 month 5.98%. HSBC, 7 days 9%, 1 month 4.5%. Bank of China, Standard Chartered, Hang Seng Bank, 7 days 8%. The launch of these high rates signals a shortage of US dollars in the Hong Kong market, which is typically due to market participants selling Hong Kong dollars to purchase US dollars, leading to a relative shortage of the latter. This phenomenon may indicate that the Hong Kong dollar is facing external pressure or sabotage, similar to the previous defending Hong Kong financial war, suggesting a challenge to market confidence in the Hong Kong dollar. Through the rate adjustments, it can be seen that the Hong Kong financial market is regulating US dollar liquidity and reflecting current monetary market conditions. News Report 16. According to a poll released by the Taiwan Meili Island Electronic News on January 20, 53% of respondents trust President Lai Ching-te. Although this is a 0.8 percentage point decrease from the previous poll, it remains at a high level. Meanwhile, 50% of respondents expressed satisfaction with Lai's administration, a 3 percentage point decrease but still above 50%. The poll also showed that 17.8% of respondents felt it was necessary to impeach current lawmakers, a relatively high percentage, with 15.8% in favor of impeachment and 72.1% against it. Cross-analysis shows that 33% of Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, supporters favor impeaching lawmakers, while 60% do not. In contrast, 7% of Kuomintang, KMT, supporters favor impeachment, while 87% do not. This suggests that although Lai's support remains high, some KMT and People First Party, PFP, lawmakers are facing pressure for impeachment. The poll was conducted from January 15 to 17, covering 1,077 Taiwanese citizens. News Report 17. According to AFP, TikTok suspended its operations in the U.S. on January 18 but resumed them on January 19. U.S. President-elect Trump stated on the same day that upon taking office, he would issue an executive order immediately to prohibit the app's operations due to national security risks. Some U.S. lawmakers have called for a more stringent review of the app, with a proposal for an investigation into its operations within the United States. TikTok denied the accusation of compromising U.S. security. News Report 18. On January 20, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce released data indicating that in December 2022, China's total retail sales of consumer goods amounted to 3.8 trillion yuan, showing an increase of 1.7% year-over-year. During the same period, online retail sales grew by 16.3%, while the sales of non-essential goods saw a slight rise of 0.5%. According to analysts, this indicates a slow recovery of the retail sector after the COVID-19 pandemic.